Hello and welcome to Raising the Barr, the go-to podcast for business owners and entrepreneurs looking to elevate their marketing game. Today, we've got a great guest for you. He set up a waste and recycling business in the UK before relocating to Dubai and starting his own real estate agency. Ladies and gentlemen, James Bloor.
Thank you very much for having me.
James, absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us today. Looking forward to digging into things a bit deeper.
Yep.
But before we do, let's head on back to the UK. Where did it all start? Waste and recycling might not be the most glamorous sector, but there's definitely some money in it.
Yeah, it's an odd one. Whenever people find out, they're like, how and why? And my stories, I started in the city, like where I'm from, in like London, East London, Essex. Everyone kind of, when they leave school, that's where they want to go. So that was like traditional for me. Got a really, really good job that around our area, like people would literally cut their right arm off for. I was young in the city, loved it. It was brilliant. It was like a dream job for any young lad. But it's one of them where you're sitting and waiting. And I've never been that guy. I'm the most impatient person on the planet. If I want something, I want it now. Or I want to be able to work towards it. Whereas in the city, sometimes you have to put 10 years in, 15 years in, which is fine. But I had my eldest, Henry, quite young. I was 24. Yeah. And I kind of gave myself a bit of an ultimatum where I either sit out 10 years and I'll probably do very well. I've got good friends that still work there that are smashing it. Some of them have relocated here to Dubai. And I'm sure I would have done well. However, I'm just not that guy to sit and wait and let somebody else kind of dictate my future. So yeah, one day I just thought, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do, but I can't do this. So I spoke to my wife. She's always backed me, my biggest support. I feel like I can do anything with her like around me. So I quit. And everyone was like...
You quit with no plan?
Just quit with no plan, yeah. So yeah, I quit just to get, obviously I had a young child at the time, so I ended up being like a taxi driver just to get some money coming through the door. And me and my brother-in-law, Jake, who's in business with me out here as well now, we decided to do the knowledge because I was being a taxi driver. We had a few friends that were earning a few quid. And when you're 24, they're earning like 10, 11 grand sterling a month. Yeah. It's quite good money. So he was like, let's do that just to give myself some focus. Loved it. One of the best things doing the knowledge I've ever done. Didn't pass it because I gave up when we started the business.
And for people listening in Dubai who don't know London,
of course.
The knowledge test is what the traditional London black taxis, and you have to pretty much know the route around everywhere in London.
Inside out, every single road name, the whole way around London. Like when you look at it, you think, how the hell can somebody do that? But
and for anyone who's not driven in London, it is like, I can't even explain it. It is.
It's like New York, isn't it, as well? It's just traffic everywhere.
Traffic everywhere, roads, side roads, scooters coming down the inside.
It's carnage. Like literally, it's like a headache when you're there. Anyone that lives in or around London avoids it at all costs driving.
And that knowledge test, what are the percentage that actually pass that? Because it's a huge memory task, isn't it? Like,
do you know what? It's more the percentage of people that give up. Yeah. And that set me in my way. Because I was just addicted to it. I loved it. Yeah. We've done all of the runs, which is you have to basically go from point A to point B. Massive memory test, but I was addicted to it. I loved it. Anyway, when we was driving along on our scooters doing it one day, there was this like dust cart, which is like a trash collection vehicle for people that don't know. And there was graffiti everywhere all over it. And I was like, that's different. What is that? Like the normal council ones. Or just say the council name, they're very plain, so it stood out. And anyway, it worked out that it was this young guy from South London, and it was called Dirty Harry's, and he set up his own business that was doing quite well at the time. So me and Jake were talking, was like, we can do that. So we looked into it, found out like what people charge, what it costs to get rid of it. We was like, sod it, let's just go and buy a dust cart. So we got a small loan from our father-in-law. He ended up being part of the business because of that. Bought a dust cart, ordered some bins, and that was it. It turned up. We had to go up to Wales to buy a dust cart, ordered bins from Europe. and we stored them all outside our house. So one day it turned up, we had a dust cart sitting there, some bins, and we was like, right, what do we do now? So we went out prospecting, which is really old school sales, and went down the high street. We was like, we can do this. Went into every single shop, because it was more like commercial waste we was collecting, and everyone said no. We was like,
this ain't going to work, this
yeah,
one, is it?
this is going to be a bit harder than we thought. Anyway, we kept at it. Long story short, ended up a full round 7 days a week, collecting over like 1,000 bins every single week. Everyone loved us. Our service was a lot better than like Biffa or Viola, which is the global traditional companies. I think people liked it. There was like one point of contact. We wasn't cheaper than them, but our service was top tier. And it was different as well. We was going around doing it ourselves.
Yeah.
So anyway, scaled the business, employed people. One of our customers, a really, really big construction business where we're from, we done their bins at their head office, and they said, oh, do you do skips? So yeah, of course we do skips. Yeah. We didn't have a skip lorry, didn't do skips. And they were like, oh, perfect. In 2 weeks, we're getting rid of our current supply because we don't like them. Yeah. Your service is great on the bins, so we want you to do the skips. In Waltham Abbey, was like, yeah, no problem. Just let us know. Give us a week's notice and we'll do it. They were like, well, this is 2 weeks' notice. Yeah. Here's the address. Deliver it in 2 weeks. So we was like, no problem. Walked out the meeting. We was like, crap, we need to go and buy a skip lorry and some skips. So business was doing okay then. So we went and bought a really old skip lorry, some skips, spray painted them up in our company logo. It was looking back on it, it's brilliant. We didn't have a worry in the world and we were just going for it. And anyway, delivered the skip. Then they gave us more sites and it built up from there, got our first yard, employed people, had like 2-3 skip lorries. Someone else was, we had a driver doing the dust cart rounds for us. And we was flat out as a business. And then where we used to tip up in Barking, next door is a big warehouse. And there was a sign saying like for sale in auction. And we've always been like I love risk, calculated risk. Obviously, when you're younger, it's not as calculated it would be now because of the experience you get. But I love it. I love going for it. I never like to sit still. Always like progressing. So anyway, me, Jake, and our father-in-law, Fred, had a sit down. We need to buy this yard. How can we buy it? In the end, Fred was like, oh, don't. Bless him. He was retired near enough at the time. Didn't want to get into it. And he's been brilliant for us. Massive support. We always learnt from him. And he guided us, but he believed in us. We was 2 young kids, really, with a dream and an appetite for giving it a go. And he backed us, so it was great. Anyway, pulled a few strings, ended up managing to buy this yard. It didn't have a waste licence on it. And at the time, we was like, it doesn't matter, it's next to a waste yard, we'll get it. Looking back, we was the last waste transfer licence given in Barking and just outside London. Yeah. It was such a big risk, but we didn't know at the time. So anyway, got the licence 6 months on, ended up being one of the busiest waste transfer station and recycling centres in London along that stretch. And it ended up being for more, we still had like our residential customers, but it was more like wholesale, like a lot of other skip companies and waste companies tipped with us. We had big recycling contracts with Tilbury Docks. So yeah, it just went like that.
And it's unbelievable, because I always say to everyone, I think people get in their head they want to be in these glamorous businesses. Yeah. Like at the minute, you're in real estate. It doesn't really get any more glamorous in Dubai, in terms of perception anyway.
Yeah.
People are forgetting more and more about these traditional, old school businesses that still have fantastic money making potential.
Yeah.
You look at some of the trades in the UK, guys who've like smashed the plumbing game, electricity game, like boys who might not have like university degrees, flash suits, but they know how to graft and they know how to make some money. So you built up your little waste and recycling empire around that area, obviously gone from zero to where you were.
Yeah.
What then made you think, I want to set that life off, leave that company, head out to Dubai where you'd been visiting for a long time?
So Dubai was always on the radar. We come here on holiday once, twice a year. We always had our Christmases, New Year's Eves here as a family. We loved it. We had a few friends that had moved here. They love it as well. So it was always on the radar, but it wasn't possible because we was tied with the business, obviously. business was great, gave us a great life. Kids went to really good schools, and it was what we'd kind of worked towards, you know. But we wasn't satisfied, and there wasn't that sense of happiness. Where the UK is great, but it's just not for me. Especially owning a business, starting a business, it's compared to somewhere like Dubai and the leaders here they genuinely want you to do well. In the UK, they just try and strip everything from you as much as they can, which is fine. It works for some people. For me, it didn't. The business wasn't for sale, but one of the lads that used to tip there was always asking, like messing around, like, oh, was it for sale? Anyway, they said, look, come with a serious offer or whatnot. So him and his mum come in, had a chat with us, and we kind of come to an agreement. And yeah, within 3 months, it was handed over, and they bought it. And it was an offer that we couldn't refuse. So that, even though it worked out for us, it was never really planned. It was very, very rush out of nowhere. And once it was done and it was handed over, obviously we'd sold it, but money was great. But it gives you that sense where, what do we do now? Oh, this is all we've known for a long time, over a decade. So anyway, had some time off, took the kids to school, picked them up, went to their sports days, just caught up on all of that time that I'd lost with them, because the yard, we'd be there at 5:30 in the morning. Sometimes we'd be there till midnight. Something went wrong, something needed being fixed. Saturdays we worked as well. So there was a lot of time lost with the children growing up. So we just stepped back, and it was such a nice time in my life. It was brilliant. Really, really built that connection again with the kids. Helped Lizzie, my wife, out as well. So that was great. But I always remember we went on like a summer road trip. We got one of them big Mercedes Vitos. And done a road trip through France, all the way to the south of France, with one of my good friends that actually moved out here just now as well. And it's my eldest son, Henry, is his best friend. So they're father and wife. So we've done a wicked road trip. It was brilliant. And it was like, that's what stuff's all about, right? It's what dreams are made of. But I felt myself getting like a bit depressed. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. And it was because I felt like I didn't have any purpose. So at the end of that road trip, I was sitting there to my wife. I was like, I need to do something. Like, I'm on the verge of really getting depressed here. What should I do? Don't really know what to do. I was like, what about the city? Like, I felt like that was cut short. I still knew loads of people there. So I went back into the city for a few months, thinking that will, because I didn't really want to set up another business again in the UK. I had no fire for it. So I went back into the city. It's brilliant life, like the lads are great, but you're getting on the train every morning at 5 a.m, you're out with clients every single night.
Yeah, it's the beers that do you in the city.
Yeah, and you think like when you're young and dumb, it's brilliant, right? But when you get to my age or whatever, and I'm not old, but
no, but you do see so many of them, even by not old standards, like by 40, a lot of the lads coming out of the city, they're burnt out.
Yeah, exactly, of course.
Because they've just burnt the candle at both ends, like
100%.
Out every night, up early every morning. It doesn't work for a long period of time.
Yeah, exactly. And so I said to my wife, I was like, this isn't for me. Like, it really isn't for me. I've got to... Anyway, fast forward, that was Christmas at the time. So I packed that in, and I felt quite bad because they'd given me a really good shot. I walked into a brilliant role, but it just wasn't for me. And I still felt that depression. And I know everyone talks about it, but my depression wasn't as bad as anywhere near what other people's are. It was fine. It was just, I wasn't happy.
Yeah, it's just that nigging.
Yeah, in my head, I felt down. I felt lethargic every day. I had no drive in life, and I didn't want to be that guy. So something happened, and it was not a friend. It was more of an acquaintance from my area. Bit of a morbid story, but he's got two young girls, and something happened in the middle of the night, and he wasn't found. Anyway, ended up passing away. And he was only young. And that hit me hard. I was like, bloody hell, like, life is so short. And I was sitting there like twiddling my thumbs, what shall I do? And I was like, I want to live in Dubai. That's where my kids want to be raised. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I said to my wife, I'm going to move out there, I'm going to figure it out. She was a bit like, oh, what's everyone going to think? But she believes in me. She knows when I say I'm going to do something, I'll do it. She went, go for it. I've got fully back you all the way, flew them out every 6 weeks. in the half terms whilst I was here on my own. To get
so they were living back in the UK.
They were still in the UK, yeah. So I come out here and joined one of the bigger companies. Brilliant, loved it, was great, felt like I was back in the city again. And done really well there, got on with everyone. I haven't got a bad word to say about it. But then I got to a certain point where a lot of clients that I was talking to, where I was a bit more mature, not like an 18, 19, 21-year-old coming out here. I know what I'm talking about. They wanted me to represent them in different areas on developments and projects that they were doing, and I couldn't. You had to like pass it over to...
As in the bigger companies, you're defined by your community.
Yes, which I get.
So,
like it's the business I was in. It's a brilliant business, great for like everyone that's doing well.
But it's a corporation rather than a
very corporate.
They're not very agile. Those big companies are. It's very difficult to move fast.
Of course, but that's not their fault. That's how it has to be, right?
Once you get to that level, you have no choice. Otherwise, you're running.
It'd be carnage. It'd be carnage. So there has to be that structure in. So I never held it against them. Left on really, really good terms. I thought they were great. Brilliant place to start. But I got to a certain level, and for me, I needed to work how I needed to work, which is a bit more freedom. Kind of be like water, just agile. You go wherever you need to go and do what you need to do, right? And I think that's sales.
Yeah, just that idea of being responsive. So when you came to Dubai, you had no previous real estate experience.
Well, I done it when I was very, very young. And it was the only job, hand on my heart, that I genuinely loved through and through. But you earn nothing in the UK.
Yeah, it's peanuts.
I didn't do it for long. I done it for like a year, I think, before I got offered this job in the city, what I was trying to get.
It always amazes me that in the UK, like, no disrespect to anyone listening who's a real estate agent in the UK, but it is one of them jobs that if you meet someone who's a real estate agent, there's a tendency to look down on them a little bit. Because it's like, you think of that local village shop, people. I'm sure the market's changing, so that's honestly no disrespect. But then you come to Dubai, and it's like the land of opportunity for real estate agents. For people who do come to Dubai, whatever age they are, new into the real estate market, what do you think are the keys to success for them? Is there needing to be that base of real estate knowledge, or is it just that work ethic, that sales, that drive?
I think, and the issue with this industry, in my opinion, and I'm not saying I'm right, it's just my opinion, everyone's different. There's not a black and white way of doing this. This is how it works for me. This is how I think it should be done. But then the owner of another business might go, no, I think it should be done this way. Yeah, of course. Like, there's so many different ways of doing this. And that comes down to there's so many different customers and everybody's different. But back to your question, I don't think having a real estate background in the UK actually benefits people in this industry because they're chalk and cheese. It's totally different.
Market,
I feel like where I've done okay, and I say it's kind of a duck to water, I love it. I don't feel like I work. I enjoy it. I love the journey. It's brilliant. Is my drive, my hunger, sales experience. I analyse everything, whether it's the person, me and you sitting here now, whether it's data, details, properties, future, leadership announcement, anything and everything. I'm like ADHD. My mind is overdrive 24/7. So I feel like that's what benefits me. But not everyone's like that. And you don't have to be like this to be successful in the game. You could be a really quiet, calm, relaxed, someone that doesn't really talk too much. And there'll be a customer out there that loves that.
I think that's the thing, isn't there? Because there are so many people buying, renting, selling, investing in property in Dubai at the minute. There are hundreds of thousands of people coming through every month. Each one of them's got a different personality type.
Exactly.
And they're naturally going to want to connect with different people. Like me and you might meet and connect, get on great. You might meet someone else and there's just no natural chemistry there. And I think that business, like people get hung up on other things, but business is so reliant on the chemistry between you and the person you're dealing with.
100%.
Like you can't force a deal with someone when you are complete polar opposites.
No, exactly. And that's what I think is the difference between our company and a lot of other companies.
Exactly. And you saw the gap. We're going to Hyde Real Estate now. So obviously you were working in a big corporation. You've done very well there. You want to throw another spanner in the works with the missus. The only thing we learned so far is your missus is a saint.
Honestly, I feel so sorry for her.
You've thrown a few curveballs at her over the time, haven't you? So once again, you're like, we're changing it up again.
Yeah.
So you really saw where the business was born from, was this idea that you wanted to be more agile, more flexible, more responsive.
And when I moved over, I said to my wife, I was like, I'm not going to set up another business. I've done that. I've ticked that box.
Famous last words.
I was confident in myself that I could earn enough to where I wanted to be to give my wife and children the life that they want and that I want to give them, but also not have the pressure and stress of the buck stopping with you.
And interesting on that point, because it's something I'm always interested in, so I know other people will be, the difference between, there's got to be really high-performing real estate brokers out there working in a company who are probably taking home more than company owners.
100%.
Yeah.
There's the way it should be as well.
There's always going to be... So some people, you would actually be better placed just staying as a real estate broker with none of the organisational worries, staff stresses, etc.
1,000,000%, without a shadow of a doubt. I know, obviously, starting the business, like last year, I'd done well last year. But obviously I was starting the business and growing with it, and it was kind of 50% agent, 50% owner. But if I was an agent, I could have done double of what I'd done. And I love that side of it, and I'll be gutted when I have to give that up. But when I see a niche, and this is what I'm good at, business structure, from my past experience and what I've done, I love it, and I love seeing people do well.
And what was that main niche, the original vision for Hyde?
So this is when I called my wife. I said, she's like, what are you up to? I was like, I'm just looking at an office. She was like, what? What do you mean? Where has that come from? I was like, look, just trust me. I'll explain. So going back to like how I like to be agile. I like to, if I had a really big Russian client that I had a few of his villas for sale in Dubai Hills, decent size. He's a builder. He's got stuff in like Nadel Shaiba, the Palm, and he likes me. We get on really well. Our daughters get on, and he wants me to represent him. I couldn't do it there, which is fine. Wasn't annoyed. I get it. So for me, I originally set up because I wanted to broke how I wanted to broke, and that what would work for me and my brother and Jake, because they're my partners in it.
So that original motivation was really to give yourself and your family the platform to do the deals you wanted to do to begin with.
Exactly. Yeah. And when I did set up, we didn't, like, I shook hands with the MD and the manager of the business I was at before and said, like, on my life, I will never ever initiate a conversation with any of the agents at that company. I will never make the first move and poach them. I was like, but if they call me, it's strictly business. Yeah. And still to that day, I've not done it because I'm a man of my word. Yeah. And they respected that, and I think they know that as well. Yeah. But quite a few people did start calling. They saw how we was doing it, the approach that we set up. And that works for some people. It doesn't work for everyone, but it does work for some. And then from different companies, we've had agents just reach out and call us. And we've grown nicely. We're not trying to be massive and corporate, but we've grown well. But so coming back to your question, and what I said at the beginning of this podcast, there's so many different customers and clients out here. Not every single one is going to like you. You're not going to do business with every single one. That's where the freedom and flexibility comes in of a platform like Hyde. And we don't bring agents in and say, this is the way you do business, because this isn't the industry for that. There's no secret sauce, as in our training will make you do really well, or this is how he does it, so that's how you should do it. When you look at people that do well in this industry, every single one of them are different. There's a guy that wears short sleeve black shirts, short sleeve shorts and sandals in a man bag, absolutely smashed it out of the park. And he'll know who he is when he watches this. And he's done it his way, and it's different. Yeah. So, and you know, it's very cliche, isn't it? People, whether it's these company owners or these trainers, they're like, we're different, you have to be different. But when you actually look at the structure of the business, it's exactly the same.
It's the same with every industry. It's like, even with our industry, what we do, what the next person on the line does, we're all doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We're all set up in the same way. All it really comes down to is, how good are the people in the business? Yeah. How good's the leadership? And who's fucking working hard enough?
Yeah.
This is really what sets it apart.
Mate, 100%.
Yeah. And I think it's a really interesting point you made there, that everyone tries to make out they're unique, etc. The base model is the same. With Hyde, what are the most unique aspects that probably do differ? Because in an industry dominated by big players, you're a smaller one, you're boutique, you've got that. So setting that up for the agents.
Yeah. So that is exactly that what you ended up on. We set this up for the agents. There's a lot of companies out there that are set up for the owners, the CEOs, the MDs to earn an absolute fortune, and their turnover is insane. So that business is now set up for the top dogs, right? Which don't beat around the bush. That's why we're all here, right? We're all here to earn money. But when you look at it from a different angle, that the money and the commission is a byproduct of everything that you do up until that point, the game changes. And that's the difference between an owner that understands business and structure than an owner that's never run a business before and they're giving it a shot, which is great because everyone has to start, but they've started that because they want to become rich. Yeah. And you can see it. When you've been in the game and you've had multiple businesses and you've gone through the whole experience of it all, it's literally, they stand out like a sore thumb. You're in it. You've started that for the money. You've started that for the money. You don't give a shit about the people that are just starting at yours. If they leave, they leave. They don't, they don't. So Hyde's set up as a platform for these agents. Not new agents. We're not saying that we're going to bring on someone that's never done it before, train them, they're going to be mega. That's not Hyde right now. Our platform is for agents that know what they're doing. They're experienced. They feel like they're suffocated. They feel like they're on a team that people stab them and go behind their back. They feel like if they want to ask one of the managers or leadership a question, they're just another number.
Yeah.
That's why Hyde's set up. And that's why, like, we've got a lad he's done 1.2 this month, first of the year. And it's double what he's ever done before at any other business. And it's because he's had the freedom to just be him. And no business is anything without the people that work in it. A business is just a name. It's the structure. Even like the leadership is important, of course it is. When they need a question answered, you're there. And it's experience. If you've not had that experience in business, how the hell are you going to help these people? And that's why Hyde works, because I have, Jake has, Ollie has. So all of us are always there, hands on deck, whenever any of them need us. But we really do push people that don't worry about what he's doing. Don't worry about what they're doing. You're you, and you're already different because there's not another you on this planet. So just be you.
Yeah, you've
got emphasize it. Them. Emphasize it. Let everyone know what works for you. What everyone know what you are, what you like. And like one of the lads done a really big deal. He's an ex-pro footballer. From one of the dads at football. So that is it. That is this industry. That is your network that you need to go in. But he's not just done it because he wanted to get a deal done. He got him a mega investment that worked for him. Yeah. And that's what was key.
That's one of the great things about Dubai. I worked it out at the end of last year. I actually just went through and totted up the number of deals I've done playing paddle. I mean, it was a sizable chunk.
Yeah.
Because it's that idea of, like you said, not just doing the deal. Where these sports, children's activities not work is a paddle. You see someone every week.
Yeah.
You might play with them for 3 months before they know what you do. Then they find out what you do, but you're not selling to them, but they just build up that trust week by week by week.
And that
I think
is
it's a decent
business.
guy. Yeah.
That is business.
Exactly.
Everything, no matter what you want in the world, wherever you are, it's people. Yeah. People buy into people, people sell to people. That is it.
And how do you drill that into the team? Because I think with any sales industry, but real estate in particular, it's like, right, are you a deal for me? No, right, out the way. Are you a deal for me? It's very much, there can be a lot of people who are just chasing commissions.
Yep.
How do you get people in that mindset, which is cultivate relationships,
yep,
build long-term partnerships, seeing them as, look for those golden geese where you might not get a deal today, but you might get 10 over the next 5 years.
100%. Yeah. So there's one major thing that I always say, and we're not a call centre. You shouldn't be in the office for the majority of the day. You should be out meeting people, networking. Have the office as your base. That's why at Hyde we don't have any office hours. Yeah. We've just got 10 a.m. Everyone has a Monday morning meeting. The team gets together. I'll go through any market updates. Our in-house mortgage team will update you, like the rates changed a few weeks ago. Central bank said that you can't now include your fees within a mortgage loan. So you get little updates like that, and it's the base and the foundation of the week for our agents. Apart from that, work from where you want. Obviously, if you're not doing that great, be in the office, be around other people. But even though no one has to be there, majority of the time, everyone is always there because it's their happy place, they're comfortable. But get out, meet people, go to hotels, go and play golf. One of the lads plays off scratch. He's joined Dubai Hills Golf Club and goes there at 6 a.m, just joins 4 balls every single morning. Good, that's your niche, that's what you're good at. Yeah. And his conversations he has is brilliant compared to what he had at another large corporate company where he had to stay in and just bang the phones every single hour of the day. I
always think that's such a good strategy for people as well, because if you're a scratch golfer and you go and play golf with people, people have got that instant respect for you.
Of course.
Because we always respect anyone who's like, whatever we're trying to do, if they're better than you, you kind of look up to them. Yeah. And then that follows through into a business relationship.
And one thing I would say as well is that sales is all about trust, right? And if you've got something in common with someone, whether it's gym or like my middle boy races, I love like racing, Formula One, etc. I was talking to one of the dads there the other day. I haven't told him what I do, but we're having a chat, and he's a really nice bloke. And I'm at the point now where I'm not looking for deals, I'm looking for sales. If I get on with someone and then they know what I do and then they ask me and I can help them, of course, I'll give them the best help I can. And then it's a natural flow. And like I said, it goes back to don't focus on that sale or commission. It's a byproduct of your day-to-day. And that's when you'll do well.
100%. And we all talk a lot about how Dubai is a fantastic place at the minute, a brilliant place for businesses to grow. There are also a number of challenges to starting up, running, setting up the company, etc. What have you found unexpected challenges with starting your own business and running your own business in Dubai compared to doing it in the UK?
None. I thought it was so much smoother process. Obviously, the banking took a little bit longer than the UK does. But it was super straightforward, and it goes back to we've got our contacts and people that we know here. So as soon as we wanted to do it, we made a phone call and it was done. People that we trust. But I've loved every single minute of it. It's been great. And the reason I feel like it's been a lot more of a smoother process is we've got no investors, we've got no debt as a business. Everything is backed by us. If we want something done, we don't have to go and sit in a boardroom or a meeting and ask someone or have a meeting about a meeting. Millie and Jake are always together. If we want something, we think it's good for the agents, sustainable for the business, we're in. And that's it.
It is so much easier. And like you said, you've got that family aspect to the three of you. So there's that close bond already. Yeah. You can make decisions quickly. Yeah. There's that natural understanding. You see so many people getting held back by business partners as well. Do you think there's any lessons the three of you have learned about yourselves during that time since you started Hyde, is right? Have you had your backs against the wall, had to like dig deep?
Do you know what? And like touch wood, every business has its downfalls and progress, and it's like it's never just a nice upward slope, is it? So it's been great, and it's been nice and smooth. Obviously, it's been stressful as in like the time that we put in. I'm there till kind of 9, half 9 most nights, unless one of the kids has like a club after school that I take them to. I'll pop into the office after this because I've got some admin to do. But it's been great. Well, do you know what it is? We've got such a good team around us. We've really gone in with like the level of support staff. Our media team is brilliant. Our admin team, we've just expanded it. They're great, really experienced. Lottie, our recruiter, and she does a bit of HR as well. She's so experienced in these big companies. But she's been a real help, and everybody loves her. And that's the key with us, I feel like, where I've gone through it before. I've hired and interviewed so many people over the years. I can read through people like a book. I know if they're being genuine, and that's all we want. Genuine, good people that are here to work hard and add value. And because we've managed to hire them, everything else kind of works itself out. And the agents as well that are here, we could have filled our offices up. Our first office is full at the moment. We've got a new one opening soon, but we could have filled that office up 3 times easily. But we've said no to quite a lot of people because, number one, I know it's not for them. Yeah. And number two, the agents in the business at the moment, this is so important. The business is nothing without them. Yeah. And I say this to them at least once a week. I'm not one of these owners that, you need me. It's total bullshit. Yeah. We need you. As a company owner, yes, I've got a lot of experience that I can help people with and teach and guide, etc. And I'm always there for them. But without them, the business is nothing. It's just a name. So that's why I feel like everything has been so smooth, because we've been patient. We're not just trying to rapidly expand and become this big corporate monster. We're just doing it the right way, and we're staying in our own lane.
Yeah, I think you see that with so many businesses. People just want to push and grow so quick.
Yeah,
and you cannot maintain your levels and grow at that rate. You've got to take step by step. And on that recruitment point, I think that's one of the hardest things in Dubai is getting recruitment right.
Yeah,
people out here, I've never seen CVs with so many white lies thrown in there. Like
on LinkedIn as well, everyone's a head of this or a senior of this or honestly, it's crazy. Yeah. But with a secret for that has worked for us. I don't know whether I should say it, but I will. With Lottie, and she was super, super surprised. I think she's the only recruiter in real estate in the whole of the region that doesn't have a monthly target. We don't care about bums on seats. Yeah. And when I said this to her, she was like, really? She's always had, like, her last company was like 15 a month or 20 a month. I said, I don't care if you don't hire anyone this month. I just want good quality interviews that are going to add value to the business, because we will add value to them. So it works both ways. So that's what I feel like our secret is. She's not pressured to put people in front of me for a chat. Yeah,
it's just because people, I see this in real estate again. People will go, oh, that real estate agency's got 500 staff, that's got 400 staff. It's like, if I'm not paying wages, I can go and get 200 people. Like,
of course.
You can put them in 10 to a dozen. What does it matter?
Out of them 500 agents, realistically, 50 are probably bringing in most of the revenue.
Yeah. And do you think that's a vanity aspect for some agencies?
I think...
to get just as many bums on seats as possible?
I think, yeah, but I think the real... how I see it is their X's and their expenses, etc., are so high. If they didn't recruit, it would all come tumbling down.
Yeah.
They're recruited en masse to hopefully get that one star that comes through. And I get it. They have to, that's their kind of their best recruiters in Dubai that they say, these throw as much shit at the wall and see what sticks. That's not how I am. I want quality. Obviously, you give people a shot. They might be a bit rough around the edges and you've got to like hone them in a little bit. But yeah, we won't just take anyone through our doors.
Yeah, exactly. You need high quality.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned earlier on, you said you're absolutely addicted to progress.
Yeah.
What does progress look for Hyde now? What does progress look like for you over the next 5 years?
Learning every single day. You never ever know everything. With Hyde as the business, we're just trying to make it as good for the agents as possible. We're constantly reinvesting. Me, Jake and Ollie, everything that the company earns, it goes straight back in. And I know that's cliche and everyone says it, but you can ask the agents there, it's genuinely true. We've got a new office that should hand over in a few weeks' time. That is double the size of the current one. We're keeping the current one as well. It's just we've taken the office opposite. We're kind of going for more of that's the like high energy sales floor, so to speak. People that want to come in and just get after it. And then the other office that we've currently got is going to be more of a hub, the support staff, coffee shop, maybe a podcast room. So a quiet place if you want to come and just have a bit of quiet time. Sometimes it can all get a bit much, this industry, and you need just a little quiet space you can go. So we've got some pods there for that, boardroom, just a little quiet place away from the day-to-day carnage. So that's our next expansion this year. But we're not looking just to fill it straight away. Yeah, the total seat count will be 90, but we've got about 30 at the moment. I like to, on average over the year, 1 or 2 good agents a month we're happy with, because we can give them what they need. That gets them set up, they get in their flow. And most agents, when they're at that level, they want to be left alone.
Yeah,
if you've got a question, come and ask me. Apart from that, there's no micromanagement. There's no, how many viewings have you done this week? It's just you do you. Yeah. And when it works, it will work. And if you need us, we're here. Obviously, if you're not doing anything for months, we will come and have a chat with you. Not because you're taking up a seat, but we want you to earn money.
Yeah, you're also earning no money, like, how are you living?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when we first started the year, how I opened is I want every single agent here to bill a lot more than I did last year.
Yeah.
That's what I genuinely want. And so far, I think 3 of the lads are absolutely killing it, which is brilliant. And it's another thing. Everyone thinks, everyone does well. It couldn't be further from the truth. Majority of people genuinely don't do well. Yeah. But as long as we've given them the platform and the assistance and the guidance to be themselves and expand their network, it's down to them to put the hard work in.
I think that's such a good point to actually be honest and realistic with that.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like the real estate sector, it gives people unbelievable opportunities. Some people have achieved things that they would never have been able to achieve in other things in life. Because how you traditionally got rich, some of them people wouldn't necessarily have the skill set to go into those kind of jobs, stuff like that. It's given a whole new breed. But it's also like there is this glamorization given that everybody in it is making money.
Yeah.
And it's just bullshit.
Especially on Instagram.
but you know, like kids coming over from the UK, we're going to make £1 million. 5 weeks later, they're at the back of the bus in economy, like there with their tail between their legs.
No.
And it is irresponsible to some degree for some of these people. Like you say, go and get high quality people that have done it before. Even if they've not done it in real estate, they've achieved something before.
Yeah.
But taking kids like fresh out of water, it's like war, isn't it? Where they just sent them over the trenches and the best survives.
Whoever survives. Yeah. Honestly, that's
is life, but it is
to an extreme here.
It is to an extreme. Like, it's kids just like 1 to a dozen getting shot down, isn't it?
No, of course. And you hear it. I mean, in interviews that I had when I was first coming over, it's people here drive Ferraris and people earn £2 million last year, and we've made 50 millionaires, and it's very much like, just be real, just be honest. I'm saying to people, mate, if you don't work hard, don't bother, because this is the best industry in the world, in my opinion. It's the best job. It's also the hardest. But once you crack it, you don't feel like you work a day in your life. The people that you meet, the things that you experience, the dinners that you have with these billionaires from around the world, or these high up government officials, like there's no other job on the planet that gets you in them doors. But it's down to you to make the most of it.
Definitely. I think one of the great things with obviously chatting with you today is you're quite unique for Dubai in that you're effectively running a family company. Your family are obviously a huge part of your life. A lot of your success is down to the support your missus has given you, backed you in situations when other people wouldn't. And in Dubai, in a place where everyone thinks of like glitz and glamour and people maybe not always doing the most moral things, you're kind of a throwback to the old school in those respects. Just how important has that been to your success?
I mean, it means I can sleep at night because I'm true to myself. And people know me. Not everyone likes me. I am who I am. But one thing I'll always promise people is I'll say it straight down the line. I'll always be honest. And you might not like it today, but 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, it will help. And as long as I can stick to that, I'll hold my head up high. And I'll never ever beat around the bush or lie or be dishonest to anyone about anything. And that's what keeps us going. And people can read that.
Oh yeah, people see straight through things. And being with your brother and your brother-in-law, very, very like unique dynamic. What kind of how do you find that as a working environment? Are they things where you understand ways, because even with friends, you're on a level with them where it's somewhat closer?
Yeah, so with Jake, me and him were in business back home with the waste and recycling business. So we've known each other. We've been at each other's heads going at it. We've been best friends, best men, enemies. That's just business, right? But as soon as you walk out the doors, you brush it off and it brings you closer. Ollie was a massive part of the waste and recycling business. He was one of the first employees of the business and just helped it grow massively. So we've always said, if we do something else, he's 100% part of it. He's matured so much, and he's my youngest brother, and it just makes me so proud because he leads by example. He leads from the front. He's the hardest worker in the room, always immaculate. He's healthy. Like every single aspect of his life is where you should want to be. And it's paying dividends for him.
So, to be able to give, create those opportunities for your family again is just a wonderful feeling as a man.
Yeah, and for him, way I describe it, he's proactive. every single aspect of his life, whether it's health, business, like trying to go out and be an agent or whatever, he's proactive. He never sits and waits. And that is a massive, massive secret sauce, so to speak, of any industry and life in general.
Nothing drops on your lap in
No,
life.
exactly. Go out and get it.
Yeah. It's like, even when people say to me, like, oh, that person's been lucky. I say, some luck, but they've put themselves in the right position.
Mate.
Like, if you put yourself, it's like little things, even if you sit in the same Starbucks everyday life, some luck's going to drop on you because you're committed enough to turn up every day. It's like, luck happens to those who deserve it.
Exactly. But you have to have the experience and the belief in yourself that when luck does drop on your lap, that's your opportunity.
Yeah.
It's down to you whether you take it or not.
Oh, man, so many people in life, like, I see it all the time, and it's like, you have got an absolute golden opportunity, and you're either like too ignorant to even realise it's an opportunity, or you don't capitalise on it.
100%.
Yeah. Well, before we round up today, James,
bit
of a question for you. If we look at like lads in the city in the UK or other parts around the world, what do you think is the most common misconception about the Dubai real estate industry?
Well, I mean, a couple of the reality programs don't help it, do they? It's very Wolf of Wall Streety. That's how I feel like it's been perceived around the world, where we're trying to bring it back. And again, I always go back, it's not necessarily the right way, what we're doing, it's just what we believe. We're trying to bring it back to more traditional roots, just good service. It does what it says on the tin. We are who we are. There's no kind of miscommunication or hidden agendas, whether it's agents that want to come and work at Hyde or clients that we're helping buy or sell their place. We will do a good job. We're not going to try and become famous and be an influencer in the process. We're just going to be honest, good people, hard work, good communication, and most importantly, get the job done.
Well, I think that's a good place to end it, isn't it?
Thank you.
James, thank you so much for coming in today. Absolute pleasure meeting you and running through that. Wishing you and Hyde every success in 2025. To everyone watching, thank you for joining us for another episode of Raising the Barr. We've got some fantastic guests coming up over the next few weeks, so don't forget to subscribe for all our content. And thank you for joining us.